Do you know the defendant, Natalie Cochran?
Yes, she is my mother.
Okay. I presume you remember your father,
Yes.
Michael Cochran.
Yes, sir.
He is deceased. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
When did he die?
February 11th, 2019.
Okay. Who else lived in your house ever since you've been born?
The only people that lived in my house while he was still alive was me, my mom, my sister, and my dad.
Okay. Now, what was your relationship with your father?
I would say it was good. We had a good relationship.
Okay. What did you do together?
All types of stuff. He was my baseball coach, my football coach, led me through several sports. Went shooting together, went hunting together. We just always did stuff together.
Your father was very athletic, wasn't he?
Yes, sir.
He participated in all kinds of sports himself, right?
Yes,
As
sir.
well as he coached sports.
Yes, sir.
He cared about his physical appearance
Yes, sir.
and even participated in some tough contests there, right?
Yes, sir. He did a couple Tough Mudders and Tough Man.
Tough what?
Tough Mudders and Tough
Ah.
Man contests.
Was successful.
Very.
Did he ever try to participate in any bodybuilding contests?
I know that he did in high school. He used to do a bunch of powerlifting, and I don't know if he ever did any shows or anything.
Okay. Okay. He appeared perfectly healthy on the outside, right?
Yes, sir.
Now, however, he had some medical problems, didn't he?
Yes, sir.
Do you remember 2017, December, when he had back surgery?
Yes, sir.
How old were you at that time?
10 or 9? 9 or 10?
Okay. Do you know why he had to have back surgery?
Because he lifted we had a big light pole in our backyard next to our garage. He lifted it up just so he could move it to a different location. And that's when he messed up his back.
He did what?
Picked up a light pole by himself and messed up his back.
Couldn't he have gotten any help?
Of course, but it's just how he is. He wants to do everything by himself.
Okay, and he injured his back, and he had to have surgery.
Yes, sir.
Do you remember whether he liked going to the hospital?
Not at all.
After this first surgery, did he say anything around the house that would make you believe that he hated hospitals?
That he never wanted to be at a hospital. He just didn't like hospitals.
He liked doctors?
No.
Okay. Now, when in 2018, there was an episode that forced him to go to the hospital as well. Do you recall that?
Yes, sir.
You were what, 11 at that time, 12? Oh, wait a minute, 11, 12?
Say 10 or 11, yes.
10 or 11, I'm sorry. What happened to him in October of 2018? Do you recall? When he got sick?
He got sick, and I feel like around that time is when you could just notice that he started to change a little bit.
How did he start to change, sir?
Just forgetting stuff all the time. and he was more aggressive for sure.
Towards whom? Aggressive?
Towards everybody. Everybody.
What was he forgetting? What was he forgetting at that time?
Just like things that he had to do, that he had planned, and he would just forget about it. And he just leave stuff at the house all the time. Just stuff that was unusual. Like he always had everything kept together. Pretty nice.
Okay. Right after October 31st, he had to go to the hospital very soon thereafter on November the 2nd of 2018, right?
Yes.
What was wrong with him then? It was just a couple of days later.
I feel like
Do you remember what was wrong with him?
I don't know exactly what was wrong with
I mean,
him.
I'm not looking for medical terms, but what did you observe?
I almost said he had brain fog almost. Like it was just,
Brain fog, you said? Okay. Did he complain of headaches?
not that I remember.
Okay. How long did he stay in the hospital that time? Like a week, 5 days?
5
Something
days
like
or a
that?
week.
Do you remember him coming back home from the hospital? Do you remember that?
Not really.
But at some point he returned home from the hospital, right?
Yes.
How did he act then?
He acted fine. He always tried to paint a picture for the kids, I guess, to just make us not worry about him or something. I don't know, but he acted fine. It was just still the same things of him forgetting stuff and him just, I don't know, I felt like he was less happy.
Was his condition, or condition as you saw it, improving, or was it getting worse?
Getting worse.
And let's say in January of 2018, what was he doing that makes you believe that he was getting worse?
Just continue to constantly forget things, and he would have more and more just snaps, like when he would just snap and just get super angry all the time.
Did he ever say that he was in some kind of physical discomfort?
No, not to me.
Okay. Did he look like he was in physical discomfort?
In my eyes, he was perfectly okay. In my eyes.
How about the beginning of February? Getting worse?
Yeah. And he just didn't want to do stuff as much anymore. He wouldn't. We used to always go out and do stuff together, and me and him would, and he just wasn't as active anymore. Didn't feel like doing anything.
He was only 38, wasn't he?
Yes.
Did he look to you like he lost interest in life? Or did he perhaps have some limitations that caused him not to enjoy what he was doing?
I think he was just too worried about everything. He was always worried about money. He was always worried about everything in his life, that he just wanted everything to be perfect for him and us. And I feel like that was his biggest worry.
Okay. Throughout the years that we've been discussing here, your father has taken some medications. Would that be a fair statement?
Yes, sir.
What kind of medications did he take? Or whatever he took that looked like medications?
He'd take his supplements, which was 30 pills a day every morning, and then his anabolics, which are steroids, and
Did he ever take any insulin?
I didn't see him personally take it. No, I didn't see him personally take it.
Did he ever inject anything?
Definitely steroids.
Okay. Now, was there a time when he was supposed to take some medication for any type of seizures? He had seizures, right?
Yes.
Convulsions? Did he have convulsions, seizures?
Yes, but I didn't witness them
Okay.
in person, no.
Was he ever taking any medication for that?
Not to my knowledge, but I'm sure that he was,
Now,
with
let
all
me-
of the pills that he was taking.
Let me ask you this. He didn't have a very high opinion of doctors, did he?
No.
And if a doctor prescribed something and he didn't want to take it, he wouldn't take it.
You're right.
You don't know exactly what the those substances were in the amount of what 30 pills a day. He had his own cabinet for that, right?
Of course.
Tell the jury about his cabinet that he had all this medication in, or whatever it was.
It was just a really, it was a long, tall cabinet, and it just had all of his supplements and pills that he took, and he would get every bottle down every morning, and he would lay it out on the counter, and then I'd stand right next to him. He'd make his protein shake, and he'd take 2 handfuls and take the first handful, chug his protein shake, take the second handful, chug his protein shake, and finish it, and that'd be it. He'd be ready to start his day.
How long has he been doing that?
Since I was a baby.
Okay. Where was he getting all that stuff?
He did shop at GNC a lot, but that was only for his supplements. And then he used to brag all the time about him getting his steroids from Mexico. I wouldn't necessarily say brag, but he would always say it was from Mexico.
What did he get from Mexico? Do you know?
I don't know the name of the steroid, but it was definitely an anabolic.
Do you ever see a bottle of it? Or-
There's a white box that would come, and I never touched it or anything.
Was there anything on the box that suggested that it was not for human consumption?
I never really read it,
Okay.
to be honest.
Okay. Weren't you concerned that your dad was taking some stuff from Mexico?
I asked him for some when I was little, because I asked him what it did, and he said, to make you strong. And I said, can I have some then? And he said, no, maybe when you're older. And with my lack of knowledge, with the knowledge I have now of it, yes, for sure. But my lack of knowledge back then, no, I was not scared. I figured that everything that he did, he was in control of. And I felt like he was always, I don't know, I just always felt safe around him, everything that he did.
Did he talk to you in the hospital in 2018 when he was there?
I would like to say yes.
Do you remember a conversation that he had with you and I believe your sister about kind of being very pessimistic about life and his life and the existence in this world? What was he saying?
I can't give you the answer on that.
Okay. Okay. Your father was, his profession was an IT man? Is that what What
Yes,
is
sir.
professional?
Yes, sir.
What did it mean to you?
I remember him doing several buildings, like wiring buildings and always working on computers and stuff. And I just figured he was just a regular guy.
Well, let me ask you this one more thing about this computer business. He was ordering those supplements from Mexico through what channels? Computer?
I would say computer.
Okay. Did you ever see anything that had the name nootropics?
No.
Okay. All right. So he was an IT man, whatever that means, and he worked on computers a lot.
Yes, sir.
Around 2017, 2019, did he work for any company? Or did he have his own business?
I don't remember exactly when he got laid off from the workforce, but I know they started their business around that time.
They being your mom and your dad?
Yes, sir.
And what business was that?
Their contracting business.
They contracted with whom?
Federal government.
And you remember that?
Yes.
Who was working on the contracts?
My dad.
Was there ever a time when your father was working on the contracts and your mom was reading a book?
Yes, sir.
Tell us about it.
My dad and my mom were laying in the room in bed together, and I was in there. I was young, and I was laying in between them, and my mom was watching a movie while she had a book in her hand. And my dad was on his computer, and he was going through contracts, and you could just see thousands of dollars on the contracts. And I asked him what they were, and that was the day that he found a 50 cal contract that I helped him with. And yeah, it just kept going from there. He just never got off. Even, we were in the hunting stand and he was still on his computer working on contracts.
And your mom was watching a movie?
Yes, sir.
She didn't have anything to do with that contract, did she?
No, sir.
All right. Was your father somewhat secretive about his business?
There.
Obviously wouldn't discuss it with a 13-year-old or 10-year-old on the business level of the MBA and his associates, but what did he tell you about his business?
That the business had to be a woman-owned business so they could get more contracts. And
Why is that?
I don't remember exactly what he said about it, but it was always that they could get better contracts of it being a woman-owned business.
Okay.
Her owning 51%, him owning 49%.
And that's what he owned as a minority
Yes, sir.
shareholder, or was just a corporation, or was it partnership? What was it?
I think we all know who wore the pants in the situation. He definitely ran it way more than she did.
Your father was a dominant figure.
Of course.
Was he a dominant figure in the life of the marriage, or just generally speaking, he was a dominating character?
Both.
Both. By the way, was there ever a time when he took Natalie's phone?
Yes.
Why is that? Well, was he? Well, let me strike this. Was he a controlling man?
Very.
Tell the jury about it.
My mom was at work. She used to work at Access Health down towards, where's that place? I don't remember the exact location. But she used to work at Access Health, and she had a coworker that hit on her. And my dad pulled up, and he either had a baseball bat or something. Not my dad, the guy that hit on my mom. And Yeah, he took that baseball bat from him and handled business. And there's several occasions that are like that. And he would always check her phone. It's just him just being crazy.
Well, was he a jealous man?
There. He
But
wanted what was his.
Was he also controlling in terms of checking the computers, checking the phones?
Yes. He would monitor my phone. He'd monitor everybody's phone in our house.
Okay.
Everybody's.
So some of the messages that were played here earlier were at the time of August. Do you remember when he took my client's phone?
Not the exact date, no.
Okay.
It was multiple times that he had her phone.
Did he ever use her cell phone?
I'm sure.
Now, your mother was obviously working as a pharmacist at one point, right?
Yes, sir.
It was a full-time job, right?
Yes, sir.
And she was raising the two of you, that is you and your sister.
Yes, sir.
Who was running the house in terms of cooking meals, cleaning, doing all of these things?
My mom.
What was your father doing at that time?
He was always either with Chris Davis or doing something. He's just
Business?
yeah. They were always at our airport hangar a lot. Okay. Those two were.
Who owned that airport hangar?
We owned an airport hangar. It was a big airport hangar, and then I can't remember if we had two airport hangars. We had one big one and one small one, or Chris owned two.
Okay.
It was either one of them. He owned one. We used to go to his a lot.
Did you guys have a helicopter?
I know we had a plane in there, but we didn't have a helicopter. I don't think.
Well, it looks like you guys around 2018, 17, 18, 19 led a pretty good life.
Yes, sir.
You guys had a helicopter, hangar. You could fly, well, you had a plane.
Anywhere.
You could fly whenever you wanted to.
Yes, sir.
Had a couple of motorcycles, right?
Yes, sir.
You were too young to ride them, right?
No, sir.
No. A couple of cars.
Yes, sir.
In fact, more than one car. What did you guys have?
I remember them buying. We had two Yukons, one white one and one gray, or a silver color, and we ended up giving the white one, I think, to Jennifer Davis. It was either the white one or the silver one to one of them, and he had his GMC truck and his Shelby Cobra, which was.
You wanted to drive that, didn't you?
I wanted that car. Yes.
You wanted that.
Yes, sir.
It was an expensive car. It was an antique.
Yes, sir.
All right. How about the houses, homes? How many did you guys have?
We had our house on 4H Lake Road, and then we had he ended up buying a house for Chris Davis's aunt. I think it was her aunt, or somehow they're related, and rented it out to her, and renovated it, and the hangars.
How about boats?
Boats. We had two boats. We had a brand new wave boat before the year even started. I think it was like a brand new 2020 boat or something like that.
Do you remember going to a boat sale with your parents?
Yes, sir.
Didn't your father buy 3 of them?
I didn't know that he bought 3 of them, but I know that he had 2.
Oh, yeah, maybe about 2. Okay. But he bought them.
Yes, sir.
All right. You went to good schools, right?
Yes, sir.
Private schools?
No, sir.
No, you went to public schools?
Yes, sir.
You had everything that the kids could desire,
Yes, sir.
materially.
Yes,
right?
sir.
Took some nice vacations.
Wonderful vacations.
Where'd you go?
Hawaii, We go to New York all the time with the Davises.
New York City?
Yes, sir.
Not a cheap place. All right. Okay, where else did you go?
We'd go to Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, that place. We went and saw a couple college World Series baseball games in Omaha. And
Well, how about a place called Paris, France?
Paris, yeah, we went to Paris, France. Been to a few
Beaches?
places. Ocracoke Island. We've been to a few beaches. Yes.
Who paid for all of this?
He did.
Your dad.
Yes.
And who did you go with? Your just the entire family, or
The
did you
entire
take-
family and the Davises.
And your father footed the bill for everybody.
Maybe not for the Davises so much, but our family, of course, yes. He took care of us. He most definitely bought their dinner a good bit.
Your father was a generous person, wasn't he?
Yes, sir.
Happy when he had plenty of cash on hand.
That was when he was happy.
And he had plenty of money to spend, right?
Yes, sir.
Except that this money came from the investors. Isn't that true? Do you know anything about that?
I don't.
Was there a time when anybody invested in their business? Do you know?
Not that I can completely remember now.
Okay. Okay. On February the 6th, when your father collapsed, you were in school, right?
Yes, sir.
When you returned home, who was at that location?
I know my mom was there. I can't remember if, what's her name? The Hamiltons were there, and I think Thomas was there.
Okay.
Thomas was there.
Did your mother appear to be concerned about your father?
Of course.
And in fact, she went into the vehicle that took him to the hospital, right? Leaving you and your sister with the Treadways, right? When your father went to the hospital that day.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Okay. And she was holding his hand as they were leaving, right?
Yes. Crying.
Crying.
Yes.
After your father's death, what was your mother like?
I feel like she was very strong.
She still did her
For
did her
taking
business.
care. For
She
taking-
still did her business. True.
Yes, sir.
Was she brokenhearted because of the death of her husband?
Very. We all were.
If I may have a second, Your Honor.
Certainly.
These are all the questions I have of this witness, Your Honor. Thank
All
you.
right, cross-examination, Ms. Akert.
I just have a couple questions for you.
Go ahead.
That works.
In your lifetime, did you ever see your mom give your dad a medication? Not Motrin or anything like that?
No, no.
Okay. And you testified that he injected what you called his anabolics, right?
Yes.
Did you ever watch him do that?
When I was little.
And if there was testimony here today that he was taking what you're referring to as anabolics orally, would you call that false?
No, he had droppers too.
Okay. Did your parents share finances when your dad was around?
I object to the form of the question. The word share is very.
Perhaps you could rephrase, Ms. Akron.
Trying to figure out how to rephrase, Your Honor.
Okay.
Are you aware if they spent money out of the same accounts?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or I'm sure that he just bought it for, used his own money.
Would it surprise you to know that both of their names were on a number of accounts?
Could you repeat that again?
Would it surprise you to know that both of their names were on several different bank accounts?
No, not really.
Okay. That's all the questions I have, Your Honor.
All right. Redirect, Mr. Victor.
I do not have a redirect examination, Your Honor.
Very well. Any reason to hold this young man?
With the admonitions of the appearance on the camera and whatnot,
All right.
I do not. He can be excused.
All right. Let me explain to you. I have made certain that your face is not shown on camera or on screen. You can step down and you are released. However, if you choose to sit in the courtroom, your face will probably be portrayed on camera. And I'm just giving you that admonition that you can do as you will and as you wish. But you may step down now and you are excused.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome.
And Your Honor, may we approach the bench?
Certainly.